thought of the day. I woke up with a memory of my dad. When I was a kid, my dad would take us out into the desert and we would just go and explore and have adventures and have some really like deep conversations. And there was a spot where there's a few like sand dunes, and I remember him taking us to try and see if we can find Niños de la Tierra. I have no idea what the translation for these little critters are, but they're like these little like insects or bugs that live within the sand. And it was always so difficult to go up the sand dunes because every two steps that you take, you go down one because the sand is loose. But I remember in this specific occasion that we were going right at dawn and we were climbing up the sand dune, and my dad takes a seat, or he sits down in the sand and he's looking right at Father Son, and his face is illuminated with the with the sunlight. And I just remember seeing him just taking it all in, probably meditating because my dad did a lot of that. And it was such a beautiful sight, and I feel like that's probably the moment that I fell in love with the sun. Um but I feel like in his pursuit for happiness and in his pursuit to discover who he was, a huge part of it was finding peace. And it seems that that is also something that I keep searching for, is for peace in my life. And I feel that it's so necessary, at least in my experience, to have peace, because how am I supposed to grow in consciousness? How am I supposed to be still? How am I supposed to live a better quality life if I am always and constantly either worried or without any peace, without any quiet here or here? And I know that this is like a really difficult thing to try to achieve, but I also feel that as we're evolving and as we're raising vibration, and as Mother Earth keeps, growing and expanding to our next phase in our evolution, it is necessary for us to pursue the peace, like our internal peace. I feel like there's a few things that we should try and practice. For example, meditation, like having those moments of being quiet and being with yourself and connecting with the unseen, but with those, when with that spirit, with that energy that we feel, is is not only important but is necessary where we're at as human race. And so if you are finding that you're maybe either like stuck almost in your daily walk or in your spiritual walk, I want you to reflect a little bit and kind of like gauge how much peace is in your life. Gauge how much time you take to reflect. Gauge how much time you take to meditate. But also remember, when we're meditating and we're practicing, our spiritual like regimen, remember to also think about drinking water. I mean, when you're meditating, when you're going to sound baths, or when you're doing Reiki, or when you're having these like spiritual conversations, when you're learning numerology or astrology, or when you're learning things that are of energy, of vibration, make sure you stay hydrated as well, because you're moving energy, and we're beings of like 90, if not more, percent water. And so when we're moving energy, remember to keep yourself hydrated. Remember that water has a spirit, and remember that water is healing. Remember to move your body. A lot of us during this process of expansion, we're probably going to be experiencing headaches or body aches, or, you know, think like our body will start manifesting, you know, certain aches and pains. And remember to take care of your body. I mean, I feel like a lot of us, when we start walking the spiritual life, we think spiritually, and it's like this abstract notion, right? But in reality, it really takes mind, body, and spirit for us to be able to, you know, reach the goals that we have spiritually. I also want to talk about really understanding our chakras. Uh, I feel that there's a misconception that if you reach, like, you know, the higher astral planes, that if you're like tapping into Akashic records, and like you're opening your third eye, and you're like up here in the higher astral planes, but you haven't dealt with the mark of the beast, which is the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. This is where we hold all of our shadows. This is where we're vibrating. And so if you are trying to heal and trying to grow and expand your consciousness, but you're straight going to, you know, opening your third eye, or connecting with your Akashic records, or really just being nosy somewhere up there in the cosmos, without recognizing and understanding yourself as energetic bodies, it's really dangerous, because you're essentially tapping into really dense energy. Why? Because here you're all blocked. You're blocked. Like there's no movement. You haven't worked on understanding your shadows. You haven't worked on healing your shadows and transmuting your shadows. And this is like a constant thing that we need to do. And that's why it's so important to have a spiritual hygiene like regimen, to, again, to meditate, to eat well, to move your body, to reflect, to practice gratitude, to know yourself before you head up there into the cosmos, and try to channel information, or try to like crack open those Akashic records, or to, you know, be connected with other beings in order to have these messages, you know, for the world. And that's a very noble like way of thinking. But don't forget that you first should understand what it feels like to be balanced. You should know yourself so well that as soon as you start, like, you know, moving too far into the masculine energy, or the feminine energy, and you start becoming distorted or unbalanced, that you are able to recognize it, and then you're able to go back and balance yourself. I mean, this is serious stuff. We want to manifest, and we want to channel, and we want to, you know, essentially be medicine, and put ourselves into service. But there's a process to it. I mean, you know, the spiritual world can be very it is abstract. I mean, we can't see it, but we feel it, right? But you know, there's a reason why there's masculine energy, because it allows us to not live in chaos, not live all like, you know, in the clouds, but to bring that information, and to anchor it, and to be able to present it with love and light, with wisdom. And so before we start running, let's take a moment to make sure that we know who we are. Let's take a moment to be familiar with how it feels to be unshakable. Let's take a moment to really learn what we're trying to practice before we start offering, you know, ourselves to others. And really understand the connection between mind, body, and spirit. A lot of holistic practitioners, sometimes forget to make sure that their clients are well hydrated. Some holistic practitioners fail to honor Mother Earth when they're using plant medicine. I mean, if you are a holistic practitioner, and I will not call anybody a shamanic healer because that's a title that is given, not taken, you should be advocating for Mother Earth. You should be advocating for, the four elements. You should be teaching it in your practice. You should not only like offer it because that's obviously part of the deal, but be like be knowledgeable of the spirit that each plant has. I mean, understand why sage is used and when it should be used, because it's not so casually used. Like, cleanse your spaces the way that my ancestors, and I'm sure yours have as well. We have forgotten to connect with Mother Earth. We have forgotten to connect with the cosmos, and we are so overwhelmed, and we are so eager, and we are so ready to change our situation that we forget that it's not a race. And remember that the next few years that are in front of us, they're gonna be 3 years of light. And 3 years of light means that there's gonna be a lot of growth. 3 years of light means that a lot of changes will be made. 3 years of light is that we're literally gonna see lights, either lights in the sky, or lights coming from Mother Earth, or lights that are produced and made by human beings. And growth and making room for light, for knowledge, definitely has growing pains. So be prepared. Be prepared to know that they're probably going to be challenging times, and there's probably and more than likely going to be moments where we will need to be unshakable. Hold on to your faith. Understand who you are. Connect with your higher self. Remember that we are, beings of energy, and find out exactly what these energy centers are for, and how they work, and how they should flow, and how you yourself can keep them open and flowing and balancing. And remember that there are many holistic practitioners who are there to walk with you, but walk with you. Remember that we're all human, and that we're all connected, and that we're all one, but we're also individual beings with our own light. And we are here not only in a pursuit of happiness and love and peace, but we're here to remember what our agreement was before we came to Earth. Remember that the sun is our logos. And remember that even spending time with our sun, sunbathing is something that can elevate your vibration, but you have to know how to do it. It's not just about, the sun is out and I'm going to go and I'm going to receive all of this energy and all of this wisdom that the sun just gives to us, to all of its creation. But there are right times for you to sunbathe. There's right times for you to ground. It's not just done for, I guess, casually. Understand that some things do demand and should be given, not only respect, but they should be honored, because they are here for our well-being. So take some time, try it out. Seriously, consider sunbathing. Consider sunbathing at dusk and at dawn. A really cool way of finding out if it's the right time to sunbathe is if you extend your arms, and if the sun is right underneath you, on both ends, either dusk or dawn, but anything above your arms, the energy, the light of the sun can be harmful to our material or to our vehicle. And so, like, learn those things. Seek and question everything and put things into practice before you go out there and try to save the world. First, change your stars. First, connect with Father Sun and with the cosmos and Mother Earth. Feel it, feel how they are energy, and they're connected to us, and they're communicating to us, and they're here to guide us.